we doing out there, kiddies? I do hope everything is going well in podcast land. There's been all kinds of shit all over the fucking news. I mean, looking at with the State of the Union address that just recently happened, that's going to be a whole other conversation. We probably end up doing that one next week. I might even force myself to sit down through the time frame of going over it and actually fucking taking notes, depending on my levels of sobriety whenever doing so, because you already know there's no fucking way in hell anybody can properly get through that thing sober unless you're a fucking moron or you're just part of the fucking agenda. Because I honestly believe 85% or more of the Biden voters out there, they don't even listen to the man speak. They just refuse to be wrong. And so they continue to fucking just buy into the drivel that's being sold. I don't get it, but I mean, it is what it is, right? But my whole question for you is, for all of those people that are voting for Biden, I mean, bless your heart, you have the freedom to do what you want to do. Just don't fucking discriminate me for my fucking choices. Are you actually voting for this man, or are you voting against the other? You see, that if you believe everything that is being sold to you through the mainstream media, then 99% of the time you're going to end up voting against the other. That's the way it's always been. Whenever it's called mudslinging tactics, it's been around for fucking generations, man. It's almost ever since politics really became politics, that's what it was. That was mudslinging. And, you know, don't vote for him. He's this person. He does this. He plans to do that. And that's what it's always fucking been. And so you'd always have a percentage of people that were not voting for a candidate, but voting against a candidate. That's all it was. Excuse me. But yeah, it kills me. It drives me absolutely insane. Now, if you honestly believe, oh shit, my bad, I bumped the mic. If you honestly believe everything that they're fucking telling you, then that means you haven't done your research. You just do like most other fucking people and, you know, buy into what shit like Headline Harry fucking sells you and everything else. It's just, you got to read beyond the headlines and you got to listen to what's being fucking sold to you. And you can't just take it as fucking news clips. Hollywood has already proven. Dude, I've got a fucking degree with multimedia and technology. Of course, this is what I'm doing with it. Nothing really much of anything. I do this and I work in a fucking paint shop. So, you know, it is what it is. That being fucking said, I do have experience that you can take anything and change it how you want to with just small fucking editing. I mean, hell, just look at the fucking music. You can change the music in a Harry Potter trailer and make it into a fucking horror flick. And that's real fucking easy. But they do things like CNN has even proven. Joe Rogan called out CNN for whenever he recorded the video of himself and he was talking about the treatment that he was receiving after having COVID and what it did for him. Now, it was going against the propaganda of what everybody on CNN was talking about. They wanted him to have the vaccine. They wanted him to have the fucking boosters, and they wanted him to fucking stay away from HCQ and fucking ivermectin. So that's what it was. And so what they did is they put a little filter over the video that he had posted to make him look more sick, as if he was talking out of his ass using a horse dewormer. If that's not fucking manipulation, I don't know what the fuck is, right? So you people fucking buy into what's fucking being sold to you, and you take it and you just fucking eat it up. And you can't do that. This has been proven time and time and time again. So let's go to a fucking TikTok and just talk about this. Now this comes from one of my favorite fucking creators, right? Her name is official Ellie Mae, and she's fucking awesome. And she's answering a response here from someone talking about Trump is guilty of hundreds of fucking crimes. This is what they keep screaming: Trump is guilty of hundreds of crimes, and they have no fucking receipts for this, right? This was the whole purpose of having to try to prosecute against Trump against all these fucking crimes, is to get the people to regurgitate this stuff over and over and over again. Now let's listen to what Ellie Mae's got to say.
Is guilty of hundreds of crimes. You still want him as president? Blah. Yes, absolutely, yes I do. Why? Shit, he's more American than ever now. Not to mention the fact that all of the guilty charges are absolute bullshit, and if you need some help spelling it out, I can do it for you, because clearly you're not gonna. Okay, let's talk about the SA case, right? This woman tried to charge several different men with the same type of charges. None of them stuck. The statute of limitations got lifted in New York, and now suddenly she could go after Trump. But she didn't go after Trump any of those years prior while he was a billionaire and could have destroyed him right then and there. Why wait until recently? And then go on CNN and brag about what you're going to do with that money, and then say how you have a fetish for being SA'd in the back of a fucking building.
Never mind the fact that the fucking event that supposedly fucking took place and everything resembles an awful fucking lot of an episode of fucking Law and Order. I mean, give me a fucking break, people. But I digress.
Also, let's not forget that the dress that you were supposedly buying or in didn't come out until years later. And that a billionaire man was by himself and nobody, not a single soul, was able to come forward and be her witness. I'm supposed to believe that? I'm sorry, I'm not going to play that mental gymnastics game that y'all do. Not guilty, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm not a believe all women type of woman. My bad. Because bitches do be lying. Let's see, what else? Fraud. He defrauded some banks. Then the banks came on the stand and said he wasn't defrauded. We sent out our own appraisers. We approved the loan. We got paid back with interest in it. It was all paid back early. Where's the fraud? Oh no, now it's the states. Then why the fuck were the banks involved? If it was the state that was defrauded, why did you bring in the banks? Why did you build your whole case around banks being defrauded? What fucking sense does that make? Again, what mental gymnastics do you have to do to force yourself to believe that he's guilty? Tell you what, it's a lot, or you're just real smooth up here.
See, and with the whole fucking bank situation and everything, I mean, not only was it insane that they pulled the banks in and they said that the bank said, well, there was nothing wrong. We even put out our own people. We did an estimate on the value of the property itself. We came to an agreement via negotiations, which is what happens on a regular fucking basis. We gave him a value amount. He agreed to that value amount. And so we gave him the loan in the amount that he was asking for, which was, it was legal. Everything was there. And then all of a sudden, fucking, he not only paid back the loans early, he also paid them back with the interest. Everybody made fucking money off of the situations except for the fucking state of New York and the city of New York. They got pissy about it. They need fucking money. They're fucking losing money. So what's the best way to do it? We're going to bleed this fucking man dry. And then we're going to fucking charge him with this. We're going to find him guilty of this before the trial even happens. We're not going to have a fucking jury involved, jury of your fucking peers, even the corrupt fucking peers in New York and shit like that. No. Come on, man. You give me a fucking break.
Okay? Some of y'all will know what that means. Let's see what else. We can talk about the classified documents case and the fact that you saw Donald Trump leave the White House with those documents. We all knew that he had them. He said that he had them. It was cleared for him to take them. And then right before he said he was going to run for president, they reclassified them and asked for them back. He said, you're going to have to come get them. And then they never did. But then they raided his home. Not to mention the fact that this man is surrounded by Secret Service 24/7, number one. And number two, he installed a skiff in his Mar-a-Lago home to keep those documents safe. But we're supposed to believe that they were sprawled out on the floor and just stuck in a bathroom? Are you stupid? Really?
Never mind the fact that there actually have been visits from the fucking government to his fucking home in Mar-a-Lago to verify the evidence of how the fucking information and all the files were being kept locked away. And they asked for more secure locks, and so he added the more secure locks as well as more security on fucking top of that, right? So he was abiding by everything. And then whenever they were asking for stuff back, he said, come and fucking get it. It's right here. You know where it's at. And then they fucking just out of the blue decided to raid him. Give me a fucking break.
The man who has done everything by the book to make sure that nothing happens suddenly fucks up? Are you stupid? Is it? It's gotta be smooth up here, isn't it? It's gotta be. And I'm not talking about the hair. I'm talking about the inside. The thing that's probably rattling around between your two ears because this is way too much information for you. But since we're going on the classified documents and he's so guilty and he needs to be indicted, right? Where's that indictment for Joe Biden? Because he was never president. He was VP and Senate. I don't give a shit how many times you people sit here and say, oh, he returned them. When they asked for it, he returned them. Blow me. Okay, he was never supposed to fucking have them. Never. Not once. But he did. Where's his indictment? And he didn't even have them secure. They were chilling right next to his Corvette in his garage. And you want to know who found it? Not the people who are in charge of the presidential documents, but a journalist. Let's also point out the fact that they were also stored up at the UPenn Center where CCP operatives were working. Where's that indictment at? Where's that? Oh, no, not for Biden? That's what I thought. Okay, anyway, let's continue. We can talk about Mike Pence and the fact that he still hasn't been charged and indicted for his classified documents that he was never supposed to have. Or we could even bring up Hillary Clinton, who destroyed her whole entire laptop with bleach to hide some shit. Where's her?
Now, before anybody goes off talking about fucking bleach, he's not talking about liquid bleach. It's an actual program that bleaches your fucking history. Now, if anybody knows anything about fucking computers, when you delete something, it's never really fucking deleted, right? There's always some kind of history or program. Well, this bleach program actually wipes every fucking thing is what that is. And that it's exactly what it's fucking meant for. Never mind the fact that they had a whole bunch of fucking Blackberries and iPads that they took and smashed with fucking hammers to make sure nobody can get any information off of it. Just saying.
Her indictment. Oh, there still isn't one? Crazy, that's weird. Ooh, or my favorite one, the election interference, because somehow, in your warped little smooth-brained mind, it is just so hard to comprehend that if there are massive irregularities in an election, you would question it, right? If you're winning by a slim margin and then there's hundreds of thousands of more irregularities than there were win margin, you'd want to redo. I'm pretty sure you would feel that way if it was, I don't know, Donald Trump that won that way. And here's a fun fact. I'd want it investigated too. Because no one should win that way. At all. Regardless of political affiliation. Did that throw you off your block for a second? Yeah, it doesn't matter who won. I still would have been calling election fraud, regardless of the party. But
now, if you go and do a little fucking research and look some shit up, because I recall seeing this shit live and I just couldn't believe what the fuck I was hearing. So if you do a little research and look up the point of error, okay, that is allowed to be sent over to judification. Now, judification is whenever a vote goes through the fucking machine and the machine can't understand what selections that were being made. So it goes over to a person, and the person reviews over the scan and verifies that there are markings where they are supposed to be, because for some reason it was probably too light or illegible for some reason, or maybe something was in the way of the scan. So the person has to look at this and verify that the vote is what they say it is, right? Because the computer just can't understand it. Maybe it was multiple markings or something, right? That being said, the point of error, the amount of ballots that are allowed to go to judification for verification is 0.08%. Now, during the time of the vote of the 2020 election in the fucking state of Georgia, they reported in Fulton County that there were over 133,000 votes that were tallied so far. And they had over 100,000 votes go to judification. I think that's slightly over that percentage error. Just fucking saying.
But because you guys are so adamant that it never fucking happened, I'm very adamant and I do my research to make sure that I'm right. Because the one thing that throws me the most is being right. I don't know. It's a nice little hit of dopamine for me. And if that's the case, if he's so guilty of that for something that you can see, unless you need glasses, I don't know, bifocal something. Hillary Clinton said the same shit in 2016 and there was no indictment for her. So if you could explain why she doesn't have one, but Donald Trump does, I'll listen. Or even Al Gore and the Al Gore v. Bush. Bush won, Al Gore screamed election interference, yet nothing was ever done. No indictments, no prison time, nothing. Can you explain it, please? Just any of it. If you can convince me of any of those, I'll shut my fucking mouth. But until then, blow me.
She's awesome. She is totally awesome. And the thing is, it goes back to what I'm saying, man. The people keep regurgitating what they hear on radio or on fucking television or whatever. They regurgitate. They don't look things up. They don't follow up. They don't verify information, right? They rely on these fucking fact checkers that come on your fucking social media and tell you, I'm sorry, but that's it's partially false. It's somewhat true, but it's really not true. And no, either it's fucking true or it's not, right? You can have partially true as far as like part of that statement is fucking true, but the entire fucking thing, to put it in context, no, it's not fucking true. He's lying about something. And then we're going to go over that with the fucking State of the Union come next week. Because that one's going to take a minute to go through. That one's painful. Either way, it just goes back to the fact that so many fucking people are voting against Donald Trump and not for Biden. They keep screaming how he's a racist, he's a bigot, he's a xenophobe, he's a homophobe. He's going to take away all of your fucking marital rights. He's going to fucking be a dictator. He's going to fucking do this and that, right? They're talking about how he's going to lock up all the fucking media people. Well, let's just take a look and see what the fuck Biden is actually, or the Biden administration. I'm sorry, I can't say Biden. Biden administration, because there's no way that fucking old man's in charge of shit. He can barely fucking make his way around, and he can't fucking make it through an hour conversation without being doped up on something. You just look at whenever he came into the fucking State of the Union, he was on fucking something. But this is from the Glenn Beck show, and this is talking about photojournalists and journalists in general, of what the fuck is going on with them. Remember how we talked about last week with fucking Obama and what he was doing to fucking Associated Press and shit? Well, this is going on today.
Well, the selective prosecution is exactly what's happening right here. We have over 60 We have documented over 60 journalists that entered through those doors or broken windows that day. The fifth person through the broken window that day was a New York Times reporter. The New Yorker reporter, Luke Mogelson, went through the broken window, and he paralleled another independent photojournalist. They went through the same window, paralleled. The other journalist, he had spent a lot of time working on the Latinos for Trump campaign. Well, even though he didn't parade, he didn't do any protesting, he did no chanting, anything of the sort, and was contracted at the time as a video photojournalist for a TV station in Mobile, Alabama. Even though that was the groundwork laid, 4 misdemeanors, swatted by over 20 agents at his home with the red dots on his wife, his children, and of course, obviously himself, at 6:30 in the morning. And then he was convicted. He said, I'm going to go to trial on this. He said, Luke Mogelson from the New Yorker, we went through the same window at the same time, and he hasn't been charged. I'm going to go stand before a judge. He did a bench trial. He was convicted on all 4 misdemeanors, and because he went to trial and he wasted the government's time and resources not taking the plea deal that he was offered, the judge put him in prison for 8 months, sentenced him to 8 months. They put him in a medium security facility in Georgia, where after spending the first 2 months in solitary confinement and gets out into the general population, he learns from all the other prisoners that they never put misdemeanor defendants in that prison. All of the other guys were, actually, they distrusted him. They thought he was some sort of plant, inside the prison. They're like, people don't come here for misdemeanors. This is what we do for a living. We're pros. We go to prison. We commit crimes and go to prison for a living. You're not supposed to be here. He goes, well, you are if you're a J6 defendant.
So you are if you're a J6 defendant. Right. We've got fucking people that have been in the DC fucking gulag prison. Right. DC jail system since fucking 2021 who have still not gone before a judge and had a court date set. That you can't tell me that it's not political imprisonment. Now here's the kicker on this story.
Mentally, how are you?
I have my moments.
You?
The guy that they talked about with the New Yorker never had charges brought up against him. Never had charges brought up against him. Tell me that shit ain't fucking crazy. Right? This is what the Biden administration is doing right now, which is exactly what they threatened Trump was going to do. They're telling you Trump is going to do all of these fucking horrible things that they're in the process of fucking doing right now. They've done nothing but giving you a shit ton of fucking lies, man. Fucking lies over and over and over again. They won't even really talk and communicate against their fucking, take the border, for instance, right? Well, the border needs to be fucking closed. We've got an invasion that's going on. And then here recently, the girl by the name of Laken Riley, the one that fucking Biden called her Lincoln, Laken Riley, right? College student, Arizona, murdered by a Venezuelan illegal immigrant, right? Biden even said she was murdered by an illegal whenever he was talking in the State of the Union, but the press came back and asked him if he felt that was the word illegal was a misuse of words, right? So here's fucking Peter Doocy talking to the fucking KJP, asking her about fucking Laken Riley and what the president's words on it before the State of the Union. And just listen to her fucking response.
Will President Biden publicly address Laken Riley's murder, allegedly at the hands of an illegal immigrant who was released by law enforcement multiple times on Thursday night. I know he's got a statement, but what about at the State of the Union?
Look, I do want, this is such a tragic story and obviously situation. This is someone's life that was lost, so I do want to always acknowledge and extend our deepest condolences to her family and to her friends and the people who loved her. And so want to always be sure to say that. And because
she can't even say the fucking name. She can't even say the girl's fucking name. Just like they refuse to say Trump's name. They'll say the predecessor, previous administration, the guy before us. They won't say his fucking name. Because there's power in a name. And they don't want to give that any fucking power.
Because it's so tragic. Look, I don't have anything to share about the president's speech as it relates to that particular question that you have. But we want to always be sure that we lift up the families who have lost their loved ones in that way. And I would reiterate, you just asked me about the Border Patrol chief. The president was just there with the current chief, Owens. The president went to the border, obviously Bronzeville, Texas, to lift up the importance of doing something at the border. And I would be remiss if I did not continue to say that Republicans rejected a bipartisan proposal that came out of the Senate.
And that bipartisan proposal is nothing but a bunch of fucking horse shit. All it did was fucking turn a wild fucking invasion into a controlled invasion. That's all it fucking did, in a faster path to fucking citizenship. It's a whole bunch of shit, and you'd actually have to fucking read it to understand it. They want to try to sell it off in some other way, and because of the fact that there were some Republicans that were involved in the fucking creation of this thing, they want to call it bipartisan. I don't give a shit. Those people are Republican in name only. They're part of the fucking uniparty, and it's a whole bunch of shit just to get you.
So if they truly, truly cared about what was going on at the border, if they truly cared about this immigration policies and trying to fix that, trying to move forward in a way where we have a tough and fair law, they would work with us on it. They wouldn't listen to the former president, who is clearly telling Republicans to reject it for his own political gain. And that's shameful. That's truly shameful.
No, she's trying to say that it's all fucking politics, man. That's what she's trying to say. It's all fucking politics. I'm sorry to say, but what they're fucking doing is all fucking politics. That's all they're fucking doing. Makes zero fucking sense why we can't have the fucking border closed. The border was pretty much closed, almost all the way fucking closed at one point in time during a certain person's fucking presidency. You know, the one who cannot be named. Give me a fucking break, people. And that's all they fucking do. This is all they fucking do. Is just spill lie after lie after lie. And we eat it up. We watch the fucking highlights. We get it from our news stations. We listen to their opinions and how they spew out the fucking regurgitation of anti-fucking Trump with their Trump derangement syndrome. And you just fucking eat it up. So do your fucking research. Look into some fucking things. Don't just go voting against people. Start voting for someone. Stop voting off fucking emotions just because he said bad words. Okay, so he said grab him by the pussy. As someone once said, I'd rather have someone that grab him by the pussy than turn out to be a pussy. Start looking into it, folks. Things are getting too fucking ugly just to vote because that's the popular opinion. Just because it's on TV doesn't make it the popular opinion. That's just their fucking opinion. Stop doing what you're told. Maybe you'll learn how to stand up on your own. Till next time, kiddies.